What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Zoe, No Days Off DFS, here to bring you that NBA slate breakdown for the 7-game NBA slate tonight. If you guys are new here, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of the content your boy drops over here on the channel, and drop a like on this video if this video or any of my other videos help you guys win some money. Last night was not a bad night if you use the core. Core smacked. Max Strus took a little minute, but he did get there in 20 fantasy points. Zaire Williamson, low owned, popped off for 30 plus fantasy points. Jared Allen was your pivot. What's the difference maker between him and Jalen Duren? A lot of people play Jalen Duren, which I get it, I understand it, but once they ruled Donovan Mitchell out, the matchup going up against the Brooklyn Shitters, that I don't know, that tilted the hat for me, really, for Jared Allen. And I mean, he was the better value play. 6,100, 6,600. I don't know. It is what it is. And then last but not least, down here at the bottom, you can't see it because I am over on the YouTube tab page, but had Ivica Zubac, who went out there and he smadacked once again. So if you guys played this core, definitely do believe that you guys were able to cash. I know I got a comment up on the Patreon for where someone saw the core at. They went ahead and did it. Again, you guys can get this content right here. My breakdowns, my parlay plays, my builders for FanDuel, DraftKings, and prize picks, along with these core plays, and also the article that should be back today. Yesterday, your boy had a migraine, so I recorded the video. Everybody got that video yesterday. Today, it'll be the article. That'll be up on Patreon or the YouTube membership page. So right there, you guys can click the subscribe button. Next to that button is the join button. It is right there. You will get all of my stuff right there for you guys. You can see it. Easy day. I mean, we're doing pretty good over here. So definitely hope you guys were able to do that. Myself last night, I took a gamble. I played Damian Lillard over Giannis because I like the upside. I like the ownership sway that I could have got, because I figured everybody was going to load up on Giannis. Everybody was going to load up on Giannis. And luckily enough, it went the way that I was hoping it was going to go. A little bit. I just needed Dame to do more. He had the double-double. He had the assists. The assists were there. The scoring is what I needed. I needed Dame to drop 25 points like he could do. Dame to drop 30. I really just felt like there was a lot of meat left on the bone, because if Dame would have went ahead and did what he did, it wouldn't have mattered that Harden popped off for 60, but having a low on Dame and everything else that filled in, this line, because I played Champagny once he was announced that he was starting. Still could have played Carlo. I was still very high on Carlo. I should have stuck with Carlo myself, because then, of course, I would have, I mean, hindsight's 2020. If I would have played Carlo, then I would have went ahead and stuck with the safety of Harden. But I played Champagny since he was starting. He was going to play the minutes. Wish he would have did a little bit more, but he got enough to make value. 21 fantasy points. That was more than enough. Jared Allen. I played Cam Thomas. Like I said in the video, Cam Thomas is like one of my favorite plays over here from the Brooklyn Nets. I gave you the other one. I pretty much made it pretty clear how high I was on Cam Thomas. I gave it away. It was like, yo, Cam Thomas. Pay attention to that right there. And then last but not least, who was my last one? I had Dame, Strus, Zaire, Jared Allen, Champagny, Zubac, Darius Garland. I ended up playing Darius Garland. That's what it was. I played Darius Garland. I know I talked so much crap about the Cavs, but yes, your boy ended up playing Darius Garland. I had no choice. He fit. The value was there, and I went and did. And lucky enough, Allen, Mobley, and Garland, they all popped off. Had a big day. But hopefully we can roll this on over into today. We got, of course, a lot of injury news to go over for the slate, like we always do almost every single time. We're going to go ahead and get into it. If you guys are enjoying it, enjoying the ride, let me know down in the comment section how you guys did last night for the NBA slate and what you're looking forward to tonight. What game are you guys looking forward to watch? Before I even do the breakdown fully, to my guy that commented yesterday in regards to feeling like you're not cut out for the NBA DFS, you are cut out. You just got to stick to the bankroll management. You just have to take a step back, look at your lineup. Look at the lineups that you're building. Are you going with too much chalk? Are you taking way too crazy swings? Those crazy swings, save that for the GPPs. If you are playing in the 150 max, things like that, that's where you play that at. If you're playing single entry stuff, take a step back. You don't have to get so crazy inside of that stuff. Like last night, the one swing that I took Damian Lillard, who was in a good matchup, who was a safe play, and considering his price between him and Harden made sense. It's the two studs on that team. Instead of going with the more owned stud, I went with the secondary stud. Made sense to do that. Was in a great spot. Good total, pace, everything. It wasn't like I was taking a crazy ass swing on something that couldn't got there. Dame giving the peripheral stats and everything. 3-point boost as well for the fact that he knocks down 3-point shots, all that stuff. Those are the things that you want to pay attention to see Are you just going too crazy? Are you taking players that might have just had a ceiling game because a player was out and you're still chasing that right there? Pay attention to those things like that. That'll definitely help you out with your lineup building, and just make sure you're playing in the right contest. That's also the big thing, because you can still cash, double up, things like that. And honestly, it's just the mindset. Just keep at it. Just keep at it. All right, so Chicago taking on Atlanta. Nerd game time decision for Atlanta. Trae Young missed the last game. New injury tag for him. If he misses again here today, then Dyson Daniels, man, that dude popped off last time, and we should see Keon Wallace get the start once again here for the Hawks. If LeVert is out, LeVert possibly could move into the starting lineup himself as well, but we should have that news, of course, first game of the slate. OKC taking on the Boston Celtics. Alex Caruso just popped up on the injury report as illness questionable, so he's more likely going to be out. And Jalen Williams, he popped up on the injury report yesterday, well, left the last game and popped up on the injury report, of course, and he's not playing. He's going to be out for unknown timetable, so hopefully it's not too bad of a hip stinger. We really hate to see our season get derailed by Jalen Williams being effed up. Boston Celtics, they rested their players last time out. Kristaps Porzingis is apparently dealing with an actual really bad virus or whatever, so he's going to actually be out, doubtful to play, but Jason Tatum should be back today. For Philly, I can't even, man. But Kelly Oubre Jr., game time decision, might play, might not. Sat out last game. Andre Drummond, same thing for him. Might play, might not. Sat out last game, possibly to be back. Either way, both of these guys are candidates who are apparently going to be limited in their minutes, and I'll talk more shit about Philly when we get over there to the actual breakdown. Toronto Raptors, they put everyone on the injury report again. Ochai Abaji's out, RJ Barrett, Grady Dick, Quickly's out, Walters is out. Scotty Barnes is currently a game time decision, questionable to play. They're not on the front end of a back-to-back or anything, so maybe we might get Scotty and the boys, or we might not have Scotty, but either way, they're going to be a very limited team. Phoenix taking on the Houston Rockets. No news over here for Phoenix. For the Houston Rockets, Freddie V is expected to be back and play today. Amen Thompson is still going to be out. Los Angeles Clippers, the only team on the back end of a back-to-back or a back-to-back period today. They played last night. I would imagine that we're going to get the news eventually today that Kawhi Leonard is going to be out. I would imagine that Bogdanovich moves into the starting lineup and starts at the 3 right here, or they can go with Derrick Jones Jr. But Kawhi Leonard, I would not be surprised if he was to sit today. That's kind of just what they kind of do. Miami side of things, no news over here. Alec Burks is a game time decision, but plays off the bench. Not really too worried about that over there. Dallas, Dante Exum, game time decision. PJ Washington, game time decision. We saw that last time. Brandon Williams is a game time decision. Definitely got to know if these guys are going to be back, because if they are, Dallas might finally have 10 guys. San Antonio Spurs, Devin Vassell, he's a game time decision. Shochan, game time decision. Shochan missed the last game. Vassell, that's a new injury that's popping up for him. Honestly, De'Aaron Fox needs to be a game time decision, because the dude obviously is dealing with some type of injury. They're not putting out what it is, but watch him play. He's dealing with something. Utah Jazz taking on Memphis. Lauri Markkanen, game time decision. Colin Sexton is expected to be back. Clarkson might be back today. Keontae George is doubtful to play. Memphis Grizzlies, Zach Edey, game time decision. They're already going to be without Salty Aldama, Jaren Jackson Jr. Both those guys are expected to be out. Brandon Clark, also a game time decision. Then we don't have to worry about the Minnesota Timberwolves taking on Denver Nuggets, or the New York Knickerbockers taking on the Portland Trailblazers. Head on over to DraftKings, the site I play the most on. The site, if you guys don't have an account, you want one, check the link down in the description box below so you guys get that deposit match bonus and join your boy over here on the King. Charlotte Hornets taking on the Atlanta Hawks. So of course, this should be a close game. Both these teams fast and pace. A little defense on the Charlotte Hornets side of things, but Atlanta, they can play some defense, depending on what they got out there. For the Charlotte Hornets, LaMelo Ball is looking like the second fiddle to Miles Bridges. Miles Bridges is playing out of his mind over his last several games, and honestly, I would not mind playing Miles Bridges here in this spot. Opposing power forward going up against Atlanta. We know that's one spot we can actually attack Atlanta, and just the recent form that he's in, kind of hard to beat. 5 of 11 from 3, 2 of 6, 4 of 10. Out here dropping 35, 26, 46, 23 points. Looking pretty good. Would not mind getting down there to him. Between the two studs over here, over here for Charlotte Hornets, LaMelo Ball more than likely will be the lower own. Sitting at 9,600, not really paying off that price tag. Looking at Miles Bridges, everything that he's doing, that would be the GPP swing that you could possibly go to right here, would be playing LaMelo over Miles Bridges. Everyone else over here for the Charlotte Hornets, I'm going to keep this really short, simple, and sweet. If Nurk misses, then you're going to maybe consider Diabite. Outside of that, Mark Williams is the only other person that has some type of upside over here for me from the side of the ball and from this team. Everyone else is legit just a swing. You are swinging, hoping that they can get you a GPP takedown. Mark Williams, pretty safe. Going to go out there, play at least over 25-ish minutes. As long as he keeps himself out of foul trouble, the game is close enough, he will be out there on the court. Honestly, not scared of an Onyeka Okongwu defense. Mark can go out there and drop us 45-plus fantasy points. We've seen it. We know it. He just did it versus Miami. Might be a possibility that he can do that here. 7,400, like the price tag, don't mind it at all. Sitting in that mid-tier range, gets you off of some of the value centers and stuff like that today, would be a spot to go to. Atlanta Hawks side of the ball. If Trae Young misses, Karis LeVert misses, Dyson Daniels, again, just he gets a huge usage bump. He's going to stuff the stat sheet, especially the block and steal upside that he's going to have in this game versus the Hornets. My God. Outside of that, the playmaking, he can play make. He actually does. He is a point guard. He can play the guard spot right there. He is a one. But outside of that, the scoring, that's what we've been waiting to see from him. 48.5 fantasy points. That was without Trae. If Trae plays, he definitely gets knocked down a bit. I'm not going to be as high wanting to play Dyson Daniels, but definitely will be someone that you can consider. Outside of that, Onyeka Okongwu was the only other person over here from the starters that's like, yeah, you know what? I can play Onyeka Okongwu. He's going to be needed, of course, going up against Mark Williams, the size, they're going to need him out there. You still can't attack the Charlotte Hornets with opposing centers. And Okongwu, we know he can go out there and give us a 44, 50 plus fantasy point type of game. I don't mind it. Love the upside for him. He has not played starting versus the Charlotte Hornets yet this season. So all of his games have been off the bench. Now he is the starter. Good spot for him. I don't mind it. Trae Young would be your GPP option because I doubt anybody with John Morant being on this slate, with Shea being on the slate, Devin Booker, Beal, Castle, Fox, some of these other guards on the slate. I don't see anybody really needing to click on Trae Young. Trae Young would be your GPP play for a fact. Now I understand Trae, he's priced up to 10K. I don't see why the hell he's priced up to 10K. I understand he dropped 70 plus versus the Charlotte Hornets earlier this season, but that was earlier this season, man. Like, yes, back to back 50-point games. That, no, 10K. I would rather play Shea, who has definitely the consistency. Now, I understand it. It's the Hornets, but you're coming off of a quadricep injury that is a new injury that you're dealing with now that held you out of the last game. That's my only word right there. Outside of that, if LeVert is back and good to go and maybe Trae misses, LeVert definitely will get a boost and someone that you want to go to. Besides that, Georges Niang, of course, Trey Mann, both those guys would be in consideration and play off the bench. Those are the only other two I would look to. OKC Thunder taking on the Boston Celtics. Shea, I don't have to talk about it. It's Shea. No Jalen Williams, more usage, a couple more shots maybe. But still, it's SGA. He popped versus Boston earlier, dropped 60 plus fantasy points versus them. I'll go right back to the well over there. Chet without J-Dub. We have not seen really too many good games from Chet over his last couple. 18, 34, 38, 16. One game versus the Brooklyn Shitters. He went out there and dropped 61.75. Maybe, just maybe, this could be a spot where we can get a really good game from Chet. I don't mind going to him as a second fiddle because technically he's going to have to be the 1B to Shea's 1A out there. Outside of that, Hartenstein 7-1. I mean, Boston can go small if they decided they wanted to do that. I'm not too sure if I want to go there. I'm pretty sure Chet, he will be playing more minutes than Hartenstein because he can guard out there on the perimeter pretty well. So that's kind of the rotation I would look to. With Alex Caruso being on the injury report, I would imagine either way, if he doesn't start, Wiggins is going to get a boost just because he should absorb those Alex Caruso minutes. And I do like him for a safety net and as a value piece that you can get from the Thunder outside of the other person who is going to be a GPP option, period. And he popped the last time I mentioned him. My boy Lou Dort, I mentioned it last slate that we were on versus the Denver Nuggets was that, hey, didn't play the greatest in the first game versus the Nuggets, went out there, he was out there, played defense. I could see this being a game where Dort is a GPP dart throw. Sure enough, Dort goes out there and drops 48.75 fantasy points. Now, this matchup right here, he's going to have to be guarding Jaylen Brown. That should be his primary defender that he's defending. His primary assignment that he should be defending. Outside Jaylen Brown, he can guard going up against Jason Tatum. Dort can guard 1 through 4. Do not get it twisted. Don't get it messed up. He legit can guard 1 through 4. He's guarded LeBron. He's guarded KD. He's guarded a lot of he's even guarded Giannis before. He guards that. So Dort would be a GPP option for me, but the safer like value plays from Thunder would be Wiggins and Wallace, especially with Caruso popping up on the injury report and just being down for the play. That's where I would kind of go there. But of course, main target would be SGA. If you're taking anything from over there, you already know it's SGA or nothing. Boston Celtics, Tatum, Brown, both of these guys are going to be needed to play. I mean, you're going up against, quote unquote, the number one defense in the league. Granted, we have slipped and regressed quite a bit. Tatum, the road that he's taken on over these last several games and everything that he's done, definitely 110%. I can see a world where you want to play Jason Tatum. I totally get it, especially no Jalen Williams out there. We have been able to give it up to shooters. We're definitely running at a much faster pace, things like that. Could be one of those explosive games, and Tatum has looked completely different over his last several games. 76, 53, 39, 87, 39. So is this going to be a dud game? Is this going to be a pop game? He's well rested, hasn't played in like the last 4 days. So Don't mind getting up to JT. Jaylen Brown, I don't really like playing him when he's over 8K, and I don't see myself getting there to him today. Derek White would be the second fiddle that I would go to outside of Jason Tatum. I definitely would see myself looking in that direction. Should probably be dealing with either Wallace or whoever starts out there for Dub being out. It would that's who Derek White should be dealing with. That is who I would imagine would be on Derek White. I don't think it's going to be Shea. I think Shea would probably be hiding off on Drew Holiday just because he's not too involved in the action and stuff like that. So that's really where I would go to. Not really too interested in any of these bench guys over here. Al Horford, you could definitely mess with that. If he's knocking it down from 3 and just being aggressive out there, he can go out there and explode and have a big day, but I'm not gonna force that or anything like that. Over here on Philly taking on Toronto, 2 shit teams that literally don't know what the hell they're doing. Maxi's out, Paul George is out. Quentin fucking Grimes went out there last slate. Nick Nurse is a liar. Nick Nurse is a liar. Nick fucking Nurse is a liar. You said that his minutes were going to be limited. He played 33 versus Boston, 27 versus Utah. That really doesn't look limited to me. 39 versus Atlanta. I am going to go out on a huge whim and just guess Quentin Grimes doesn't count for the limitation. Or at least if maybe Kelly Oubre Jr. misses again, then I'm going to have to consider Quentin Grimes as a play. So Quentin Grimes right now would be someone that I would look to if Kelly Oubre Jr. misses. Just because I'm not going to ignore it. I'm not chasing necessarily, but the dude is putting up some really good numbers. The matchup is going to still be good for him here going up against Toronto. If he goes out here and lights it up real quick from 3, gets a couple of assists, plays some defense, get him a steal or 2, and then go sit on the bench after 28 minutes, I'm more than likely sitting at close to 35, 40 fantasy points, and I'll take that. I will take that. But outside of Quentin Grimes, the only other people that we can look to, I'm not looking at Kelly, not looking at Andre Drummond, not looking at Yabusele. Jared Butler, Lonnie Walker, Justin Edwards. Those are going to be the ones we look to. And then if Drummond misses, we're definitely looking at Bona. That's all you're going to look to. Look towards these young guys right here. Do not get sucked into the trap. Oh, Kelly Oubre Jr. is playing. No, he's going to be limited. They've said it. That Nick Nurse has not lied about. Nick ain't lied about that. Nick has not lied to us about Kelly Oubre Jr. being limited or Andre Drummond being limited, period, even before he came out with that statement. Or Yabusele magically leaving games with injuries and stuff and coming back. But Yabusele really hasn't been doing nothing for us lately anyway. Don't get sucked into that trap. It's Quentin Grimes, it's Jared Butler, Lonnie Walker, Justin Edwards, Bona. Whoever doesn't start between Lonnie Walker and Jared Butler, that would probably be your GPP option that can definitely pop because typically people don't like to play the bench players. They're going to go with who starts. Over here on the Toronto Raptors side of things, though, they're dealing with a ton of injuries. If Poto goes out there and play, I don't imagine Poto playing more than 25 minutes. Like, that's legit kind of what they've held him to. Granted, he was in foul trouble in both of these games, so that might contribute more to, hey, we're not really seeing Jakob, but I just would lean on the side of caution with that. Now, granted, in these 24 minutes, he's gone out there and dropped 34 and 37 fantasy points. The matchup is still good for him right here. You don't have your primary ball handler out there anymore quickly, or if Scotty Barnes is going to be limited and honestly has not been looking to playmake or anything lately, it's blowing my mind on what the hell he's doing. We know Poto playmakes. We know he can definitely rebound the ball and he can score very, very well. If I'm not dealing with Drummond, I'm dealing with a smaller Yabusele or maybe Bona, who I know you can get into foul trouble and things like that. Jakob at 6K is a really good play right there, and I don't mind getting to that, especially if Scotty misses. Outside of that, we're going to have to look at Shaheed. We're going to have to look at Lawson. We're going to have to look at Castle, Roden. All these guys are going to be in play. Even everyone's favorite DFS darling, who has not played since February, Chris Bouchard. Chris Bouchard is going to get one of these games eventually where they're going to give him minutes and no one's going to play him, and he's going to pop for another 40 fantasy point outing. I'm not saying that's today. Just saying. Just pay attention, but he's eventually going to be slid back into the rotation. Out of these younger guys, I'd say Shaheed definitely in play. Rhodes is in play. Lawson, he came alive last game. Finally had the big shooting night after I played him and didn't do anything. 53.5 fantasy points and 32 actual points, going 7 of 14 from 3. I'm not necessarily chasing that, but definitely I don't mind going to AJ Lawson. I don't. He's going to be in play. He's going to have to go out there and play the minutes. Just look at this injury report. These guys are going to be out there playing a ton of minutes. So don't feel too bad about playing at least 2 Raptors today. It makes sense. It's okay. Utah Jazz over here for them. We're not getting a fully healthy Utah Jazz team. I know it says game time decision. This is a team we're gonna have to wait until they actually tell us who's gonna be out, because they're not playing. Keontae George is the only one that I know for sure is doubtful. Long as John Collins is in at 6'6", I don't mind going to him. The dude is a baller. He's gonna go out there, play his heart out, do what he got to do, and maybe give us another 40+ fantasy point outing. Going up against Memphis, who plays fast. No Jaren Jackson Jr. Zach Edey is only gonna play about 25 minutes. Collins can dominate here in the spot, and I like it. I'll go to John Collins again. Walker Kessler, I don't mind him, but he is a bit expensive when I can trickle back down to Jacopoto or a Nick Richard, who we'll get into a little bit later on the slate, or go over there to Mark Williams instead. For me to want Walker Kessler, John Collins would have to be out, if I'm being honest. Same thing for like Filipowski. A little bit too much, wouldn't be going there. Now, with Keontae George being out, I do like Colin Sexton, since they're showing me he's not necessarily limited in regards to his minutes. Played 33 minutes last game, dropped 38.75 fantasy points. Honestly, really was scratching my head like I could have sworn this dude was out, like limited in regards to his minutes. If he's going to play that many minutes, I will have to have some interest. Same thing if Jordan Clarkson is going to be out, then they are going to be very thin at the guard rotation. You're only going to have Bryce Sensabaugh, Johnny Juzang, and Svi Mykhailiuk as your backup guards. I know they're not trying to win, but if they're going to give the actual players that have the usage, the minutes, those are going to be the ones that we're going to want to focus on. With everyone being back, I don't have too much interest in Isaiah Collier. I would much rather just pay down for Colin Sexton and just hope that even if he goes out there and plays 24, 25 minutes, he can still get me close to 30 fantasy points. That's what I would have to hope. Because with all these players being back, Collier's usage just drops, and he's not necessarily getting us those peripheral stats we were seeing earlier when he was popping off for those big double-doubles. I wouldn't see myself going there, and I'm not going to risk it. So primarily for me, John Collins, Colin Sexton, and maybe just depending on the news on who's actually in and out, you can consider Walker Kessler, but that would be more of a GPP lean right there on that side. On the flip side of the Memphis Grizzlies, John Morant, Desmond Bane, no Jaren Jackson Jr. Both these guys are going to have to go out there and do it. Ja, he's popping off 53, 53, 49, 37, 40. Looks like we might have old Ja back. This is a really great spot to go to John Morant at 9,300. This is why I don't feel like Trae Young, if he plays, is going to be owned. Why I don't think that LaMelo Ball is going to be owned. Why freaking Devin Booker's not going to be owned. Because why would I play that when I can play John Morant? Now, between the two, at the same time, Desmond Bane, he's been playing very well as well over here for them. Looking at his game logs, 57, 68, 28, 66. This is another good spot for him to be able to go out there and get us another 50+ fantasy point outing. And he's 1K cheaper than Ja. You can still slide him at the guard position. I don't mind coming down here to Desmond Bane. I do think that he will be more owned between the two when it comes down to ownership. But either way, both of these guys have high usage with Jaren Jackson Jr. being off the court. And both of them, especially Bane, stuffs the stat sheet. The dude can give you a triple-double because he rebounds so freaking well. It is crazy, the rebounds that he has. And also, it's the Utah freaking Jazz. They stink on defense. Opposing shooting guards, point guards, whatever spot you play, you're going to be able to cook, feast, and have your way with them. So main two plays that you want to get to over here. Now, if Zach Edey misses, and I want to say that he didn't play in that game versus I'm pretty sure. Yeah, he didn't play in that game versus the Suns. He didn't play in that one. Instead, did they start Brandon Clark? Was it Brandon Clark that got the start? No, it was not Brandon Clark. No, Huff got the start over here for them. If he was to miss again, Huff will probably get the start once again. Played 25 minutes, 23.25 fantasy points. You can mess with that if you want to as a value play to get down there to 3,900. He's going to have to play the minutes, but I would rather just play Nick Rich if I'm going to play a value center, truly, if I'm going to be honest. GG Jackson got the start as well for the fact that they rest normally Vince Williams on back-to-backs. They do not play him on back-to-backs. I would imagine that Vince Williams will get the start here again at the power forward spot. Vince makes for a decent value option at 3,800. The price is just cheap, and he's going to go out there and play at least about 25 minutes. You just got to hope that he's knocking down his shot because he's going to take the shots. He can get us some defensive stats and stuff like that, but it's going to be far, few, and in between. Very inconsistent when it comes down to it. Luke Kennard looks like he's going to actually be back as well. He should see at least about 20-ish minutes in this game, and I can see him as another value play that you can consider. But primarily for me, it's going to be Ja, Bane, and if he starts again, I can consider GG Jackson because when he gets the minutes, the boy is a hooper, and he can hoop. And he's a decent spot, and I wouldn't mind taking a stab at him as well. But definitely pay attention who's actually going to start right there at that power forward spot, because whoever starts, that's going to be your value play over there for them. Dallas taking on San Antonio Spurs. This is a back-to-back-ish game for them. They just played each other, what's today, Wednesday, Monday. So only difference is PJ Washington, game time decision. Hopefully he plays. That'll give us some more players over here for Dallas. Same thing for Brandon Washington. Brandon Williams. If he plays, I definitely, 4,500. I talked him up quite a while ago, and I'll go right back to the well. The dude, in the games that he started, 34, 49, 33. And he left this game with an injury. He left this game in 24 minutes. He left that game with an injury. The kid is good. So going up against the Spurs, another great spot. If he's going to be in, I know he's on a two-way contract. They're trying to limit how much they play him so they can extend it enough to where they can actually sign him to his actual deal. So pay attention to that for him. If he's going to be in, I would definitely will go there because I imagine that we're not going to get Spencer Dinwiddie having back-to-back amazing games, which he finally knocked down his shots. 9 of 16, actually took double-digit shot attempts. 4 of 8 from 3, was just feeling it from the field. But, I mean, when you're not playing as many minutes as everyone else, like Klay Thompson and Najee Marsh, who aren't getting any rest, yeah, you might be a little bit more rested with your legs over everybody else. Najee Marsh, 7,500. The price tag is warranted, but the dude's playing hella minutes. Definitely, I feel like he has a safe-ish floor of at least about 35. He's rested now. This game right here, this was a back-to-back, and he played 40 minutes again. Still was efficient from the field, 50% from the field. 1 of 5 from 3. If he knocked down 2 more threes, he had a very good day. He's touching 40 right there. I will still take Najee Marsh. Definitely have to consider Klay Thompson just because he's also getting the minutes, but the shot attempts, they've been there for him. He's taking double-digit shot attempts, lighting it up from 3 as well. And when I say lighting up, he's taking a ton of 3-point attempts. But with just the rotation, everything that they're running, Klay's a decent spot right there, 6,400. I would consider it, but I would much rather get up to PJ Washington if he's going to be back in playing. If he's going to be out again, then of course you're going to have to consider Edwards again, Kessler Edwards. He's pretty much a de facto center and out there playing those minutes for them, and would be someone that I would consider. Over to the San Antonio Spurs side. Sochan, he missed last game. That is why Harrison Barnes, which if you pay attention to it, Harrison Barnes minutes contribute and they go along with whatever they do with Sochan. Sochan misses, then Harrison Barnes is going to get a boost. Sochan plays, we're not playing Harrison Barnes. I honestly don't want to play Harrison Barnes anyway, so I'm not really looking in that direction. Only person that really, I legit want to play over here on the Spurs is Castle and Vassell. That's it. And if Vassell misses, then I really want to play Castle because I can see Castle possibly getting the start or extended minutes. That's if Vassell misses, which it would be really interesting to see what they do with Devin Vassell. So if Vassell is out, maybe they might shift Harrison Barnes to the 3 and they could start Keldon Johnson or something like that. I would definitely pay attention to that because that'll be a little bit interesting. Either way, I love Castle. He's playing very well over his last 7 games, 33, 36, 32, 34, 46. And this is in somewhat limited minutes and off the bench. He's still getting close to 30. Something's going on with Fox. Fox does not look good out there. I think he's injured, and I wouldn't be surprised if they shut him down like they shut down Wemby due to his whole thing he had going on. So definitely pay attention to that right there because Fox is not worth it. At 8,900, I'm not playing De'Aaron Fox. I will just focus on, like I said, Castle, Vassell, if Vassell's in or not. But Castle is going to be a really decent, safe play that you can get to over there. Other than that, nobody else is important that we have to get to. Phoenix Suns, it's straightforward on this one right here, man. Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, Bradley Beal. You play the studs. And if I got to rank him in order, it'll be, personally to me, Booker, KD, Beal. Oh, sorry, Booker, Beal, Kevin Durant. That's how I kind of see it over here. Nick Richardson, he makes sense. He looks like he could be a possible play. The minutes are not necessarily going up or anything like that, but it's just the matchup for him. He has played going up against the Houston Rockets already this season and went out there and he put up a really great game. And I want to say he started that game as well, pulling it up right now. In that game, he played 28 minutes and he dropped 32 fantasy points. They could use him out there for his size. Understand Memphis, that's kind of like a small ball team right there. They don't necessarily need a big out there for them. They went small, and Huff also stretches the floor. He only played 25 minutes. Nick Rich is played 20. Same thing for Dallas. Dallas doesn't have a center. They're playing pretty much a small rotation. He didn't have to really play the minutes right there. Denver Nuggets, of course, you do need him out there. 9 of 13. If he would have got a couple more rebounds, definitely would have paid off and would have had a better and a bigger night. Going up against the Rockets, you got Steven Adams and you have Shane Goat out there. I imagine Nick Rich should play about 25 minutes here in the spot. 4,400. I like the upside for him as a possible GPP option and someone I would look to. Outside of that, not looking towards Tyus Jones, Jared Allen, Royce O'Neal. Someone has to miss for me to even want to go there. Don't fall for the Tyus Jones trap. Tyus Jones puts up these numbers when Bradley Beal sits. That's when he gets the upside in the production that we want to go to. Not going to go there. Over here to the Houston Rockets side of things, Amen Thompson's going to be out if Fred is back. Now, Fred was back. He played in this game going up against the Kings on the first, and then he's been out ever since then due to his ankle. Shot very poorly in that game, still played some pretty good defense, rebounded the ball, and got the assist. Would be a GPP target to me just because he shot so poorly. If he actually knocked down his shots, he would have had over 30 fantasy points out there and probably would have took a couple more shots. He's going to shoot a ton of threes as well. So I don't mind looking towards Fred VanVleet as a GPP option, but not like a safe play to me. Instead, the safest play over here, and I like it, is going to be Tari Eason. In the game that he started going up against the Phoenix Suns in earlier this season, he played 34 minutes. He dropped 49 fantasy points in that game. I like the upside for him. I would go right back to Tari. I don't mind that. He should start over Jabari Smith Jr., even though Jabari has been pretty consistent over his last 3 or 4 games. He would be the GPP option. I still like the upside for Tari Eason. Like, I just like it. The Phoenix Suns, they don't play any defense. They really don't. As much as they want to seem like they do not play defense. And at 5,900, I would take the upside for what Tari Eason can go out here and give us. Dylan Brooks is your GPP flyer. Of course, we know Brooks can just randomly have these big games. Do not fall for the trap. Just do not fall for the trap. Outside of that, Jalen Green, he's there. If Fred misses, I kind of like the upside a little bit better because I know he will give me those assists that he can get. He can rebound the ball pretty well for his spot. We just need that scoring to come back around that we were seeing a couple of weeks ago. Honestly, to begin and start the year, like, we just need that scoring to come back from him, and he would be a smash in a shoe-in spot. For everyone over here for me is going to have to be Tari Eason when it comes down to it. All right, last game on here. If you guys haven't done so already, make sure you guys go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you guys don't miss any of the stuff I'm putting out over here. It really does help out the channel. It helps your boy grow, and it keeps me motivated and consistent to want to go ahead and drop this stuff. Hopefully you guys are truly learning some stuff from here. Definitely the comments and stuff that I've been getting over last couple videos, interacting with people through the comment section, also on the Patreon and stuff. Big shout out to you guys because I'm seeing that the stuff is paying dividends to you. Like, you're starting to get it, and you actually enjoy the breakdown. So definitely keeps your boy motivated, grounded, and wanting to continue to do this stuff for you. All right, last game on the slate, Los Angeles Clippers going against Miami. They are in Miami. They were just in New Orleans yesterday. We got to know what time James Harden got in, what clubs were open, and what time he went to bed. Because it's Miami, man. You know they got some strip clubs out there. We know Harden is just a part of the scene. He likes to be in the clubs. That's my only worry. He played 40 minutes last night. If Kawhi does not sit here, then I kind of want to play Kawhi just because I don't like going and playing a stud player after they just played heavy minutes the night before. That's going to be me. Harden should be on some tired legs. Harden played 40 minutes last night. 40. Dropped 60 fantasy points. Priced up to 10-2. Should be dealing with Davion Mitchell defense. Hopefully all that just adds up and I don't got to give you the equals this for that right there. Kawhi, if he plays, he played 36 last night. I'm more leaning towards wanting to play Kawhi Leonard. A couple of less minutes than what Harden played, but the upside is still there, and you're more than likely not going to be dealing with the more pesky defender. Big Zoo, going to be dealing with Khalil Ware. Played 38 minutes last night. I was a little bit worried, but then I went back and looked, and Zoo's just been consistent either way. If he's playing on a back-to-back, front-to-back, up, down, left, right, he's looking good. Harden is the one that just scares me because he could just disappear offensively and not decide to score and just play make out there, especially depending on what type of defense he's having to deal with. That's where I lean with when it comes over here. If Kawhi Leonard misses and they start Bogdanovich, I like that. 4,800, that is going to be one of your key value pieces on today, at least in my eyes, because he's going to have to go out there and play, I would imagine, safely 27. I mean, shoot, he played 39 versus Detroit, 37 versus the Phoenix Suns. I would imagine he would have to play no less than 30 minutes in the spot. I would just imagine. And if his shot is falling, it could be a big day. Now, they start Derrick Jones Jr. I know he's, real good out there on defense. I want to say he played for Miami, too, if I'm not mistaken. You can take it as a GP flyer, but in that case, I would end up going with Zubac would be more the play I want to get to. But as of right now, the Clippers, they're kind of hard to truly trust. They're one of the older teams in the league, so it's like, do I really play these guys? Over here on the Miami Heat side, I talk so much shit about Bam Adebayo. Bam priced up to 9-2. Ain't no way I'm playing Bam. I'm not playing Bam with all of these players back. He goes in there and drops 56.5 fantasy points. All right. I give it to you, Bam. You shut me up. Can you do it again? Good spot for Bam. Don't mind going to him, especially if Kawhi Leonard's out. But he has to keep up the scoring. He has to keep up the scoring, rebound, and do everything that he's doing right there. I would much prefer coming down here to Tyler Hero or Wiggins. Both those guys are in play and contention to me. Hero, if he can go out here and do it like Bruce Brown did last night, just lighting it up from 3 and just being all over the court, playmaking like what he normally does, 2 assists in his in that last game, not worth it. Not going up against Charlotte Hornets, but we do know he can go out there and get us about 45 fantasy points. I'll go right back to my boy Tyler Hero. I could definitely take that. Wiggins, really haven't seen too much from him over these last games, like a big game, and I mean like 40 plus fantasy points. I haven't seen that yet from him. This could be one of those spots depending on the type of defense that he sees. 6,500. If you're just trying to get like a safe late night hammer, I don't mind. I could take that. And where would be your GPP option? If Alec Burks misses, that doesn't mean anything or at all over here for Miami. In Miami, honestly, I would stick with the starters. Do not worry about the bench. That's just me right there. All right, guys, that's gonna do it for me. Hopefully you guys were able to get something from this. Definitely talk to me down in the comment section if you guys got any questions or anything like that. Good luck to everybody on the slate. Rest of my content will be following after this video. We are going to have a double up parlay for FanDuel, double up parlay for DraftKings. I also want to say I'm going to be doing the lotto for either, more than likely on DraftKings, as they have all lines up, versus FanDuel. It's not as great. And I will have a builder for Prize Picks today. Good luck to everybody. Cash out. Peace.